Hello everybody, this is Daniel from Daily Soap Dish, and today I want to talk about what happened last night on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, the finale actually, and we were in for a treat. I don't think many of us expected what happened, so let's just get into it. So of course what I'm talking about is Geoffrey proposing yet again to Varya. That is the shocker of the season. We've had a few shockers this season, and I think for me that probably rates as the shocker of the season. I think one of the the two biggest shockers I would say were A, that Lana turned out to be real, and B, that Geoffrey proposed yet again. He was all but done with Varya when she rejected him. Of course, she didn't actually say no to him in Russia. She said, not yet. But Geoffrey was super furious. He was so mad. He was completely done. He was ready to never speak to Varya ever again because, as we know, she was texting him. She was having a lot of remorse over her decision. She was regretting denying him. And I feel like a lot of that is not because she made the wrong choice, because her choice at the time in Russia made a lot of sense to say not yet, because, well, you know, you were just here for, a few weeks and everything went smoothly, but perhaps it's not the time just yet. Maybe come back again to Russia and, let's see how it goes the next time around. And maybe that would be the perfect time. But of course, Geoffrey didn't want to have any of that. So I feel like that kind of made Varya make the choices that she did, which were to have regret, to text Geoffrey a lot, and of course to actually just decide to jump on a plane and come to the US for 2 weeks and just see where it goes. So all of that came to a head last night, and Geoffrey proposed to Varya yet again. Now, okay, so that's one thing. I just want to talk a little bit about what is going on with Mary, with Geoffrey, Mary, with this whole thing, because when Varya came back, well, Mary was at his house, right? And so Geoffrey was moved on. He was with Mary, and Varya was a distant thought. Well, as we saw last night, actually, the second night that they were together, I believe maybe it was the third morning, or it was either the second or third morning. But in any case, we see Varya wake up in Geoffrey's bed, just like that. So basically, Varya was there for one full day, and Geoffrey discarded Mary just like that, and he was back with Varya. She was in his bed. Wow. That was pretty quick. It was a bit of a shock. I thought that it was going to take some time. No, it took one day, and just like that, Geoffrey and Varya back to being full on a duo again. I mean, Geoffrey kind of beat it around the bush a little bit, like, oh, I'm still thinking, like, I'm still processing all of this, but he was not processing much of that while Varya was in his bed basically like a day later. So that was a pretty big shocker. Now, I have to say, Mary has been very nice to Geoffrey this whole time. She's been very supportive, and a lot of the things that she said on the internet, the way that she was behaving, have led us to believe that Geoffrey and Mary were a duo. In fact, we're still not exactly sure of where Geoffrey stands with Mary, with Varya and everything. We were pretty sure that Geoffrey and Varya were broken up at this point. So what is going on? This is insane. But I will say one thing. If I was Mary, the way I was treated, I would never want to see this Geoffrey ever again. I think Mary was humiliated. I think Geoffrey discarded her like a cheap piece of trash. I'm sorry to say it, but literally the day that Varya came back into his life, Mary was gone. And he never defended Mary when Varya was acting like this crazy, wild, psycho bitch. And he never defended her. He just kind of stood there, and a lot of people were wondering, well, why is he not defending her? This is so weird, right? And if you love someone, you're with someone, it would only be natural. I mean, look, if I'm married, right, I just have to think about it this way. And I see this competitor, I guess, Varya, coming back, and I see my man, he's not defending me. Well, damn, I'm really pissed off. I really feel used and abused, and I'm not happy about it. So if I'm married, I wouldn't be happy about what transpired last night. I think at one point, Geoffrey even said, so I think he said something like, oh, now that you're here, Varya, all these feelings that I had for you, they're just resurfacing and in even more powerful fashion. And I think he even said something like, I even tried using another woman to try to like pretend like I didn't have these feelings for you, but it didn't work out. Of course, that other woman being Varya. So Geoffrey essentially admitting that Mary was sloppy seconds. She was just his rebound girl. And oh my goodness, I feel so bad. I honestly, truly feel bad for Mary. But I think that she has to stand up for herself. And I just think that you can't have this Geoffrey treating you like that. You just can't do it. I mean, they can say they're friends and all that, but it's obvious that Mary wants them to be more than just friends, and Geoffrey just does not treat Mary accordingly. He does not treat her the way that she treats him, and so for that reason, I feel like Mary definitely, if she wants to have some self-respect, I think that she has to cut ties with Geoffrey. The other thing that I will say is that probably the reason why Geoffrey was so adamant when he left Russia that he was done with Varya. He didn't care about her anymore. She said no, that's it. He went on a little ego trip there, and probably the reason for that is because he knew that he had Mary waiting for him back home. So he didn't really have to kind of like play it subtle and just kind of try to, watch his words a little bit with what he said, because he knew. He said, screw everything, you hurt me, screw you, screw everything, because probably he knew in the back of his mind that he wasn't going to go home and be lonely. And so in a sense, probably Mary's behavior towards Geoffrey has actually enabled him to kind of use her in this way, to kind of tag her along and to kind of make her feel like, oh, well, maybe there is a chance for us. Maybe it will work out at some point. But it has to be really telling how quickly Geoffrey did a whole 180 last night and just went back to Varya. It has to be really telling for Mary how quickly he went. And the other thing is that I'm not even sure that Mary herself was fully aware. It's not just about what happened, right? It's about the things that Geoffrey said yesterday when Mary wasn't around. So I'm not sure if Mary was aware of these things, but if she watched that episode last night, I can't see how she has any hope of this whole thing working out with Geoffrey. So I don't know what you guys think about that. What did you think about this whole ending? Was that, first of all, was that the shocker of the season, the most unexpected shocker of the season? Or did you think that Lana was even more surprising? The fact that Lana was real and in the flesh. For me, I have to say this was unexpected. I don't know if we've ever had a season where the dude proposed not once but twice to the same girl on the same season. I can't remember right now. So that was pretty shocking. And of course, Varya said yes, so they were engaged. I'm not sure if they're still engaged at this moment. We're going to do a little bit of digging. If we find out more information, we will share it. Geoffrey has shared some stuff last night. He was kind of doing an Instagram live. He was a little tipsy, not to say drunk. He was kind of slurring some words, but he looked very happy with the whole thing, and he was like, it was his moment of kind of digging back at the haters. He was like, all this time that I was reading all these comments about, like people saying, oh, Varya dodged the bullet. Well, ha, ha, ha. I get the last laugh. So he was very happy about how that whole thing turned out. And I have to say, a lot of people were wrong about the whole Geoffrey and Varya and Mary thing. So tell us if you think that was the big twist, or if you thought that Lana was an even bigger twist. I also want to touch a little bit on David and Lana. David and Lana, this is just so weird. David is weird. Even Lana's a little weird. Everything about it is weird. And what was the weirdest thing about this whole thing is that we knew David was going to propose. David himself knew he was going to propose. He kind of tried to beat it around the bush. Well, you know, I have to make sure that she's into me. I mean, you know, like some things worry me. Like, why when I kind of show affection to her, she doesn't show it back? This is so weird. Is she as attracted to me as I am to her? Well, newsflash, David, no. That is a sure sign that she sure as hell is not as attracted to you as you were to her. But the thing is, this should be obvious. Regardless of that, I just thought it was so weird how he proposed to her at the airport. As he's leaving, he's kind of giving her this kind of embrace, saying, okay, well, adios, you know, bye-bye, hopefully I'll see you later. And he just gets down on one knee. It was such a weird thing. It was just so unromantic, and it was just very awkward, weird, and blah. You know, it was weird. He should have proposed to her at the restaurant. Why didn't he? Right? And anyways, Lana said yes, but of course we know by the time that the tell-all is shown next week, she breaks it off. So obviously things didn't work out quite as well for David and Lana. However, we also know that David is going to be moving to the Ukraine soon, I guess. And so we might see David again on the show at some point, and we might see Lana again on the show at some point. So that's kind of what I wanted to discuss with you guys. So just tell us in the comments down below, did you think that the Lana twist or the Geoffrey twist were the biggest of the season? So that's it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And tune in to Daily Soap Dish for more 90 Day Fiancé content.